A human blockade took over 6th and Yamhill Wednesday afternoon. Protesters brought traffic and TriMet to a stop, angering the public.
Don't involve us that aren't part of it. I'm not even from this damn state, man. I'm trying to get home.
Some even got out of their cars. Minutes later, Portland police say 14 people were taken into custody. And TriMet crews helped buses back on schedule. Later, the protesters made their way to the Justice Center, waiting for those arrested to be released.
I think if they didn't cause trouble, I don't see no problem with the police.
Just down the street, Greg Sock holds a sign. He says protesters personally affected his life.
It just has been horrific, not knowing whether you're going to get home from work or not because they stopped TriMet.
Protesters say their goal was to block roads and public transit to get the mayor's attention. Sock wishes these protesters would follow the lead of the Women's March held last weekend.
There was no disturbing of traffic, no riots, no violence. That's how protests should be, and I have a deep respect for that.
We started by stuffing 100 envelopes, roughly the same size as a ballot envelope, with paper that matched the approximate weight of a ballot. We then addressed them to a post office box we set up in northwest Portland. Next, we hit the streets to drop off batches all across Portland. In total, we dropped our mock ballots off at 12 locations in different zip codes in the city. We gave the ballots 1 week to arrive at the P.O. box. That's the amount of time the Multnomah County Elections Division recommends mailing them before Election Day if you don't use a secure drop box. Right now, your county election office must get the ballot by 8 p.m. on Election Day for it to be counted. 1 week after dropping them off, we check to see how many we received.
All right, we got some. We got a notice for an overflow. Let's go see what we got.
We took that card to the front desk where a worker brought us the rest of the mock ballots.
Is this everything?
Yeah, that's it.
84, 86,
Then we counted.
98, 100. There it is, good news. We got all 100 ballots within a week.
Record turnout is expected in some places this year with the presidential election, meaning counties will be sorting through thousands more votes. We asked voters if they prefer the secure drop box or the postal service.
It's 50-50, but I've been dealing with the post office for 30 years, and I'm going to continue dealing with them.
I prefer both. I mean, I like them equally.
Of course, you can always drop your ballot off at one of these secure drop boxes in the state until 8 p.m. on Election Day, regardless of which county you live in. The local counties pick up these ballots, not the Postal Service. The Multnomah County Election Division says it's up to the voter about where you want to drop off your ballot, but they're confident in either option. Reporting in Northeast Portland, Reich Gasaway, K2 News.
It's not uncommon to see a tree trimmer tackling a neighbor's backyard this time of year. Still, neighbor Gene Bloom took note.
Well, I knew he had been trimming because I've been watching him.
Oh, yeah.
You know. Yeah, that's what old people do.
Bloom is no stranger to the task of tree trimming himself. He knows the arduous, albeit dangerous work is better left to an arborist. So when one of those tree trimmers came darting across the street, he knew deep down something was wrong.
Ran over and said that, call 911, call 911. He's cut an artery. I can't get his phone to work. And then I heard the man that had cut himself with the chainsaw up in the tree yelling back down. Very loud. Well, I couldn't tell for sure, but he said something about they need a bucket truck or something. I'm not going to let go of it.
Cue police, at least a dozen firefighters and paramedics, and what became a nail-biting 45-minute rescue from 40 feet up. Bloom watching those tree trimmers once again, but this time a much more dramatic scene. Crews had to first treat the tree trimmer while he was still suspended. You can see him stuck there. They hoisted ladders to get to him and assembled a rope system to lower him to the ground. They used a plastic lawn chair as they carefully but quickly carried him to the stretcher. Fire crews say the worker was talking and conscious the whole time. Neighbors talking too, as it wasn't just Bloom, really the whole neighborhood watching on.
sagging power lines, bending branches, vehicles slipping and sliding, all signs of a real snowstorm, ready or not.
When I went to bed last night, there was nothing, and then I woke up and there was snow. So, yeah, it's exciting.
And here's a real snow bank with employees taking dibs on who gets to shovel the walks.
I just said I want to get out in this snow. Shovel away.
She actually gets a kick out of it, or should we say puts a real kick into it.
The kick is the key. Yes, that's my special touch.
Always a good morning workout.
When it comes to snow shoveling technique, this guy is hard to beat. He lost his arm when he was a kid, learned to shovel in the Rocky Mountains.
It's definitely a bit heavier, you know, the lighter snow in Colorado, but with that snow, you couldn't really make snowballs. So, you know, that's always fun. I have a daughter, so they're out having fun today. You know, school's canceled.
It's not just the kids who had a play date. These two grandmothers work at another snowbank, invested their time this way.
We've only had maybe a half a dozen customers, so we thought, well, why not?
And they watched truck after truck get stuck on their hill.
You know, we all made it here in one piece. That's first and foremost. Just getting up that hill was a challenge. But, you know, we're used to it. We live around here, so we've born and raised, and, you know, this is our home. This is what we do. Four-wheel drive, baby.
She was amazing. She was amazing. She galvanized people.
Teresa Marble can't help but smile when remembering her friend Tammy, seen here in a video called Tammy's Story.
Any good selfie that I'm in a group, Tammy took the picture.
That's Tammy on the far right. The last picture Teresa was in with her friend before cancer took her life.
Everybody has been impacted by cancer. Everybody's lost somebody. Everybody knows somebody that has it.
Other friends have died from it too, which led Teresa to bid on this quirky item at a cancer fundraiser auction. A rock that said supporting fighters, admiring survivors, and honoring the taken.
I just had to bid on it. I felt compelled to bid on it.
It stayed in her home for a while before she decided more people should see it.
So the rock was just sitting right there.
She used it to cover a tree stump on her property, hoping to provide inspiration to those passing by.
We get a lot of foot traffic on our road. It's a nice neighborhood. It never occurred to me somebody would take the rock.
But it disappeared shortly before Thanksgiving.
I was more disappointed than mad. I was disappointed that somebody would take the rock that clearly was there to be an inspiration to other people.
Tammy's friends live by the motto, be a Tammy, meaning see the good in people. Teresa's tried to do that.
Well, maybe somebody took it because they're fighting cancer or somebody else is fighting cancer, and maybe they needed the rock more than I did.